certain topic. So why we are studying this, okay? So that way you'll be understanding this one. At the beginning of the class, I told that finite automata is of two types. Finite automata is of two types. One is deterministic finite automata, and then next one is non-deterministic finite automata. Under this non-deterministic finite automata, there are two types again, NFA without epsilon loops, and then another one is NFA with epsilon loops. Okay, till now, whatever NFA, I've already told it may be designated as NFA or else NDFA. Nothing wrong in that one, okay? So sometimes I may refer NFA as NDFA or else as NFA. Now, we have seen, given a language, we have seen like given a language, how to construct a DFA from that one. Okay. And then again, given a language, we have seen how to construct an NFA. Got it? And then again, we have seen how to convert an NFA towards NFA to DFA. We have seen this one also. And then till today, whatever we have discussed regarding this NFA, right? They're all NFA without epsilon. Got it? So today class, right, we are going to study about NFA with epsilon loops. NFA with epsilon loops. Now let me draw a circle here. I mean a cycle. Given a language, the easier way to design a machine, for smaller version of language, it's easy to design a DFA. But for complex language, right, it's convenient to design the NFA directly. That's why we learned how to convert an NFA to DFA. And then compared to NFA without epsilon, given the language, if we design the NFA with epsilon loops, that one is more convenient as compared to NFA without epsilon. So given a language, if we could design the NFA with epsilon loops, from there what we will do, we will convert to NFA without epsilon, NFA without epsilon loops, NFA without epsilon loops. After that, we'll convert this to DFA. And then sometimes while converting from NFA without epsilon loops to DFA, right, many unwanted states might be there. That's why we usually used to learn minimize DFA. Okay. And then from this DFA, if we have a DFA, right, we can get a regular expression. We can get a regular expression from this particular machine. Once we get the regular expression from this minimized DFA, we can easily express the language. Okay, this is a cycle we are going to learn. And then today's class, right, mainly we are going to discuss about this NFA with epsilon loops. Before we discuss about this NFA with epsilon loops, we are going to learn this regular expression. And one more thing, whatever I've discussed in the class, go back, select the topic from your textbook, and then read it in that way, okay? But the whole structure which we are going to study in the case of finite automata is this one, okay? Okay, we have started learning from DFA, and then we have started learning how to convert from NFA to DFA. That NFA which we have discussed is nothing but NFA without epsilon loops. So today we are going to learn NFA with epsilon loops and then regular expression. Now, before I begin with this NFA with epsilon loops, let me just start with this regular expression. So this regular expression, right, it's nothing but an algebraic way to describe a language, okay? In sort of way, right, in the digital design last semester paper, we have studied certain laws of I don't know why people keeps on entering the class. Now it's too late. I won't accept. So last semester also we have seen in minimization of what to say sum of product of sum literals and all we have used we have taken help from algebraic laws rules regulation and all. So today also what we are going to do, we are going to learn how to represent a language in an algebraic fashion. If we are going to represent a language in algebraic manner, that representation or that expression is known as regular expression. Okay, that's the term arrived from the. That's the meaning of the term regular expression. And then now, certain rules are there. Certain rules. What to say? Like, let me just. Okay, null itself are already by default they are nulls and phi by default they are regular expression. And then we are going to consider r1 and r2, this regular expression, right? In certain textbook they'll be represented with small letter r with suffix 1 2 3 like that, n number of suffix like that, or else maybe capital letter r, they can be represented by capital letter r or small letter r. And then union of two regular expressions, the final result is also a regular expression. And then concatenation of two regular expression is also a regular expression. And then regarding this closure, right? Regarding this closure, while explaining the example, I'll be informing you. There are two types of closure. One is, oh, sorry. Okay, I'll move with this. Okay. There are two types of closure, closure. One is known as clean closure, another one is known as positive closure. Let me give you an example of clean closure. This asterisk is representing clean closure. It means what? Epsilon 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, like that, okay? And then 0, this positive closure means null is not included. 0, comma, 0, 0, comma, 0, 0, 0, like that, okay? That is the meaning of these two types of closure. First one is known as clean closure, and then second one is known as positive closure. So closure itself, again, they are regular expression. And then in here, this bracket, it's also a regular expression. And then again, certain notes are there. And then in mathematical evaluation and all, we have seen the both mass formula and all. If you have a certain expression with all the operators and all, which one has to be processed first. So that things, right, we have to look on to it. So certain rules they have provided to us. I'm not going to read that one. Please read by yourself. Now regarding this regular expression, right, they have mentioned another one. Any set represented by a regular expression is called a regular set. Let me tell you one thing. Okay, I'll just move it here. Consider summation is equal to a comma b. Okay. What do they mean by this? Any set.
అయితే మా సైజ్ చేంజ్ చేసుకోమా
Who is this? Shall I remove you or just mute your mic? Okay, see, this definition, right? Any set represented by a regular expression is called a regular set. Okay, so in this one, right, uh, they are considering an example of summation symbol a comma b, a comma b. So a, the symbol given to us a, right? We can represent this one in this set form like that. So this summation, right? If I want to represent a set, I can write it as a or as b. There is no rules that one set could not have more than one element like that. Okay, this is also a set because when we study set, this curl bracket is using to represent a set. So a set with a single element, a set with a single element. Now, what they have written here is A denotes a set this, and then A plus A denotes this, AB denotes this. A plus B is nothing but A union B or else A or B. It denotes inside the set as A comma B. And then AB is nothing but A concatenated with B. It can be denoted inside the set as AB. Got it? Again, A clean closer, it could be denoted inside the set as this. Now let me explain this. Let me explain this. Now we have seen that union of two regular expressions. Let me write some regular expression. A clean closer. A clean closer. And let me write another regular expression as B this. Now, as per the regular expression rules, which I have just read out, R1 union R2, the resultant will be again, what regular expression? So, how to write a union in the case of regular expression is R1 plus R2. And then, as per the expression here, A clean closer or B positive closer. This is regular expression. And then in terms of set, right, what they mean by that means A plus B clean closer, right? In the set format also you can write it as A comma B. What they mean, what they have just read out one definition means, if it is a regular expression, we could represent this one as a regular set format. Regular set format. Okay, this is regular expression. And we can represent this one as regular set also. So these are the few points you have to practice. Okay, next week I'm going to consider one example. These are the same rules which I have just read out. And then in last semester, we have used certain identities, algebraic identities, commutative, this, and all. So these are similar things. This is not my job to read. You have to study by yourself. In exam, I'll be asking certain minimization of a given regular expression. You have to use certain identities and you have to reduce it. Or maybe I may provide in the left-hand side certain regular expression. You have to prove it that left-hand side is equivalent to right-hand side. Using these identities or laws, you have to do it. Now, next one is, let me take one example. I haven't taken any example how to write in regular expression formally. So let me consider one example. Let me write one example here directly. Woohoo. See here, in this example, right, I'm going to write a regular expression for this language. Before I construct the regular expression of this language, I need to understand the question first. So in this one, right, what they are meaning by this a to the power n, b to the power m, they are saying that this length n plus m should be even. Okay, the condition might be that a1 b1. If a1 b1, 1 plus 1 is even. So if n m, if both n and m are odd, then n plus m will be even. That is the first case. And another case is A2, B2. So 2 plus 2 is equal to even. So another case is A to the power n, B to the power m. If both n and m are even, then n plus m is equal to even. So while constructing the regular expressions, right, we need to consider both. Both the option. So at the end, we have to perform the union of both the cases, and then that will be the final result. So let me represent the case one here. Let me represent case one here. In this case one, right, when n and m are odd. N and M are odd. For this, let me represent regular expression R1. So how to write the odd one means a to the power 0. A to the power 0 in the case of string, it will be represented by epsilon. So epsilon means this 0 is even. So we could not have epsilon in this odd expression. So what we need to write is, there are many options. It's not that you have to have a single option. It's not like that. It's up to you. So my way of writing this one is double A B B B B. Okay. I don't know whether you guys are understanding or not. Or some might say, or B. Let me just brief it. This clean closure means AA. You can consider this AA as, for 0. Wait, let me just rub it. This clean closure means, let me consider first one is epsilon. If I consider this whole as epsilon, then only single A will be there. Then if I consider this as epsilon, only single B will be there. So as per my target, A to the power 1, B to the power 1, 1 plus 1, even. It's fine. Now again, let me consider this as epsilon. Single A will be there. Again, let me consider this as epsilon. Single B will be there for this, for this. So both works, okay? And the next one, instead of considering this as epsilon, let me consider 1. This whole as 1, A, this B as 1, B. Again here 1, A, then B, 1, B. So A, 1, 1, this will be A, this will be B, and this will be A, B. Now, see here, let me compare one thing. My target is, and number of A and number of B should be odd. Then only this number of A plus number of B will be even. Now, if I write, instead of writing the regular expression in this manner, if I write in this way, right, when I choose the value of A, when I choose the value clean closure as 1, then even number is coming out. Even number is coming out. Hence, this way is not accepted. As per my target, number of A's and number of B's has to be odd. Then only number of A's and number of B's, if I perform the summation, the resultant will be what? Odd. Okay. I don't know what I've just said is, opposite or not. Are you getting why I have written here A asterisk A, then B asterisk B? Okay, so this one is not correct. This one we have to accept it. So next one, right? Let me take case 2. Let me take case 2. Let me take case 2. Case number 2, N and M are even, if n and m are even. So in this case, right, let me represent this one as R2. So for this even, right, it's not an issue. A asterisk, B asterisk. So if I check, right, epsilon is accepted as even, and then if I select instead of epsilon, if I select 1, then BB. If I select 2, then B. So even number will come. N is equal to even, M is equal to even. Now, at the end, the final regular expression is R is equal to R1 union R2. This is the way of representing union in regular expression. That's why plus. Now, R1 is A asterisk A, B asterisk B union A asterisk B asterisk. Okay, this is the final regular expression. Now let me take another example. Now I'm going to write the regular expression for this language, where the condition are n should be greater than or equal to 4, and then m should be less than or equal to 3. N should be greater than or equal to what? 4, and then m should be less than or equal to this. So some example strings are a, and then epsilon, because less than or equal to 3. And then A, B. Then A, then B. Then B. And then after this, again, if I increase A value, 2, 3, 4, 5, epsilon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, B. I can increase the length of A, but the length of B should not be more than 3. Okay, that is the case. Now I'm going to write the regular expression for this. Now let me represent the regular expression by R. So in this case, right, A to the power 4 or more. A to the power 4 or more. So A to the power 4 concatenated by A clean closure. And then after this, right, for each and every term, let me just write, instead of B, let me have epsilon, because B length should be less than or equal to 3. So 0 is also included. B to the power 0 in string representation, it has to be represented by epsilon. So here, union A to the power 4, A clean closure, B, union A to the power 4, A clean closure, B, union A to the power 4, A clean closure, B. Okay. Now this one, right? You can do the simplification and keep it. A to the power 4, A asterisk is common. And then epsilon plus B plus B plus B. This is equal to A to the power 4, A clean closure, epsilon plus B2 plus B3. This is the regular expression for this language L. So I have explained two examples. Rest, you please practice by yourself. Okay. Now see here, let me go back to the cycle again. Given a language, let me just rub this. Okay. Given a language, let me represent regular expression is RE, then this. Given a language, we can derive the regular expression for that language, and then for that, from that regular expression, we can directly design an NFA with epsilon moops. This one table will be provided to you guys, so later on we'll do that one. Now we have learned what is regular expression. Now let me try to explain what is this NFA with epsilon moops for today's class again. Today class we have to discuss regular expression and NFA with epsilon moops. Okay. Wait a second. I need to charge my mobile. My battery is down. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, I didn't bring my charger, so once my battery is down, I'll just switch it off. Okay. Now, let me. Okay, this is epsilon moops. I won't be reading this definition and all. I'll just move to the example directly. Let me take one example. Okay. In the case of NFA with epsilon moops, this is allowed. This is allowed means currently at Q naught, without reading any input symbol, it means epsilon is representing null, right? So without reading any symbol, which is going to be represented here by epsilon, we can perform the transition from one state to another. This is known as NFA with epsilon moops. But in this epsilon, I mean, transition from one state to another with epsilon as the input is not at all allowed in NFA without epsilon moops. That is the difference, okay? And then today's class, right, we are going to learn how to convert NFA with epsilon to NFA without epsilon moops. In order to learn this topic, right, we have to learn another topic which is known as epsilon closure. Okay, got the point? In order to learn how to convert from epsilon with NFA with epsilon moops to NFA without epsilon moops, we need to learn this epsilon closure. So with this example itself, right, I'll just explain this. What is this epsilon closure? Now let me find the epsilon closure of this state Q naught, Q1, Q2. So let me just write the example. Epsilon closure of, no need for inserting off and all. Q naught. This is nothing but state Q naught without reading anything, which are the states which can be reachable directly or indirectly from this state Q naught. Q naught without reading anything, it can reach Q1. Again, from Q1 without reading anything, it can reach Q2. So from Q naught, you can perform the transition directly to Q1, indirectly to Q2. So for this one, write Q naught, comma, Q1, comma, Q2. Now, epsilon closure of Q1, it can read the state itself Q1. Without reading anything, it can perform the transition to Q2. So this is the result. Epsilon closure of Q2, it can read the state itself. That's it. So this is the concept of epsilon closure. Now, this example, right? There are three symbols. Summation is equal to not three symbols, for A comma B comma C comma epsilon. This one, right? Let me convert this to NFA without epsilon. So last time, what we have seen in the case of conversion of NFA to DFA, same concept will be using it. So let me represent NFA with epsilon as M. Let me represent NFA without epsilon as M dash. In here we have let me just write Q summation, then this, then Q naught F, and then in this case, let me have Q dash summation might be deferred or same because epsilon won't be there here. Let me just write it as summation itself. This Q naught, I don't know, so let me just assume as Q naught dash, then final state also. And then one point which you need to understand while converting an NFA with epsilon to NFA without epsilon is number of states. Number of states will remain the same. Number of states will be same. I mean, NFA with epsilon moves, right, consists of 3 states. When I convert this NFA with epsilon to NFA without epsilon, the number of states will be same. 3 states will be produced in here. Now, let me construct the transition table. Let me construct the transition table. What are the states? Q naught, Q1, Q2. This is final state, this is initial state. Input A, Q naught. Input B, Q1 itself. Input C, Q2 itself. And then Q naught with epsilon, Q1. Q1 with epsilon, Q2. Other 5. Why am not? You have to insert it in exam. Okay, you cannot leave this one as empty. Okay, now the same thing. I need to construct a transition table, a modified transition table here. A, B, C without epsilon. This I need to construct. It's almost similar to that NFA to DFA construction using subset construction format. But here we are going to use the concept of epsilon closure. Now, the initial state in the given NFA with epsilon is Q naught. So in order to find the new initial state, we need to find the epsilon closure. Sorry. We need to find the epsilon closure of the initial state. In order to find the new initial state, we need to find the epsilon closure of this one. This is nothing but from this one I can understand Q naught, Q1, Q2. So let me just write Q naught, Q1, Q2. Okay, this is new initial state, and then again we need to find all the epsilon states of this. This is going to be the initial state. This is going to be the new initial state. Let me just mark it as new initial state, and then the race of the states. Race of the state means Q1 and Q2. This Q1 and Q2 also you need to find the epsilon closure of it. So let me just find it. Epsilon closure of Q1 is equal to Q1, Q2. These are new state. Epsilon closure of Q2, Q2. The new state. Okay. Now, what we need to do is, in this one, right, in this transition table, we don't have any epsilon as the input symbol. Now we need to find in order to fill this transition table, for all the new state, you need to find a transition path. So what I have done is, what I have done is, let me mark this one as NS1. So this NS1, right? NS1 for the input A, we need to find. So how to find that one is a little bit different with that normal DFA construction. Q0, comma, Q1, comma, Q2 with input A is equal to epsilon closure of delta Q0, comma, Q1, comma, Q2 A. This is equal to epsilon closure of delta Q0, comma, A union delta Q1, comma, A union delta Q2, comma, A, this. Now, this is equal to epsilon closure. I didn't bring my charger, okay? I'll just move little bit faster. Now, you need to move back to this table and then you need to find the corresponding values for this. So I'll just write it. Q naught union phi is equal to epsilon closure Q naught, which is nothing but Q naught, comma, Q1, comma, Q2. Now again, the same thing. New state 1 for input B. For this one also, Q naught, comma, Q1, comma, Q2, B. Epsilon closure delta Q naught, comma, Q1, comma, Q2, B is equal to epsilon closure delta Q naught, comma, B union delta Q1, comma, B union delta Q2, comma, B is equal to epsilon closure phi union Q1 union phi is equal to epsilon closure Q1, which is nothing but Q1, Q2. So let me just cut short it, okay? Let me just cut short it. New state 1, C. Oh, C input delta Q naught, comma, Q1, comma, Q2, C. Epsilon closure delta Q naught, comma, Q1, comma, Q2, C. And then after that, let me just write the final result, okay? Please work it out. Please work it out, okay? And then next one is, this is new state 2. This is new state 2. This is new state 3. For this new state 2, A, you need to find Q1, Q2, A is equal to phi, and S to input B, Q1, Q2, B is equal to Q1, Q2, and S2 input C, Q1, Q2, C. Please work it out, okay? Do not, you can copy the thing, but please work it out, okay? Epsilon closer you need to find. Next one is next step 3A input. Q2 A and S3B delta Q2 B phi. Next one is next step 3C. Okay, Now this table, right, I need to fill. I don't have space here, so let me just construct the table here. Let me just construct the table here. In this new table, we are not going to have the input symbol epsilon. In order to remove that input symbol epsilon, we have been using the concept of epsilon closure. Okay, that is the difference. So I need to fill this table. Let me just fill it. This is the new initial state Q1, Q2. Initial state is being marked by arrow. So let me just write Q0, comma, Q1, comma, Q2, Q1, comma, Q2, then Q2. Next one is Q2, Q1, comma, Q2, 5, Q1, comma, Q2, Q2. Next one is Q2. Next one is Q2, 5, 5, Q2. Now, like in the case of DFA also, wherever you find the final state, mark is that final state, right? So here, in here, right, all the combinations we got final Q2. So this is also, I mean, final state, final state. And then like what we have seen in the case of DFA, now let me assume this one is A, this one is A, this one is B, this one is C, B, B, C, C, C. So let me draw the NFA without, NFA without epsilon. Let me just draw it. A, in order to indicate this one is initial state. And then 3, A, B, A, B. For input A, self loop itself. And then for input B, state B. Input B, input B, state B. And then for input C, state C. Input C, input C, state C. And then for state B, input A, nothing, B, B. Input B, B, B. B, B. And then for C, C. C, C. Please avoid this, this not properly I have drawn here. Please don't do like that. Please do it properly. And then C, C itself. Itself. Now, before I begin, this is the required NFA without epsilon loops. Now, I've already told that the number of states will be same. In here, NFA with epsilon, right? Number of state is 3. So here, number of state is 3, same. Okay. I don't have, I'm facing some issue. Please wait for a while. Okay, thank you very much. That's the end of this today's class. Okay.